Welcome back to Church Production. I'm Marcel Patillo. We recently sent the GrandMA Command Wing XT over to our friends at Northwoods Community Church in Peoria, Illinois. They've been looking for an overall more versatile lighting console for their student ministry, and I believe they were pleasantly surprised with what they found in the Command Wing XT. But before we get started, give this video a like and let's hear a little bit more about Northwoods Community Church in Peoria, Illinois.
We're a church in Central Illinois. We're somewhat Baptist, non-denominational. Music is very upbeat, high energy. We're about 2,000 to 3,000 on a weekend.
So as Aaron just mentioned, Northwoods Community Church is what I would consider a big church, but their student ministry alone is like a small church itself. But before we get into what the Command Wing XT was able to do for their student ministry, let's get their first impressions.
When we first got the Command Wing XT and I started programming, I was just amazed by the amount of control that I had. On my old console, it was kind of, you do it this way and you figure it out. There was hundreds of times where there's this one little thing that's bothering me that I couldn't do anything about on the old board. And then Aaron's like, oh, you can just press that button, it fixes it. I'm like, no way. It just amazed me, the amount of control and versatility that I had.
Coming from the size of a light console and then seeing the Command Wing, it was a lot smaller, but it still had all of the features of an MA console that I was used to. Still the motorized faders, all the executor buttons, everything that you would expect to have on an MA console, it was there. It didn't feel like a cheaper version of an MA console. It just felt like an MA console in a smaller size.
So while the GrandMA Command Wing XT might be a bit smaller than some might expect coming from other lighting consoles, it packs all the bells and whistles that you might expect from GrandMA. But Aaron does a great job of breaking down what it was like going from their previous bigger lighting console down to this smaller lighting console workhorse.
Going from our old console to the Command Wing XT, it brought a whole new group of modern tools. Something like as simple as recording multiple songs into separate sequences, the selection tool, layout views, the 3D visualizer, all that kind of stuff. The motorized faders, just being able to put a group, a song, an effect on a fader and have it always be exactly what you want it to be. All those little things, the programmer like Sam or a volunteer coming in, it puts things where it makes sense, so it's easy to understand. And I think it improves the experience for both someone who's programming and someone who's not there every week, not in production all the time. They can just oh, this makes sense. I'll push this button, hit go, and it's set up and it's not doing anything weird.
So while a TV show or a movie studio or some type of high-end production may have, professional camera ops and lighting technicians and audio engineers and all these people in their various places, a church heavily relies on volunteers. And when it comes to volunteers, some of them may be a lot more well-versed or a lot less well-versed in the equipment that you're using. So it's really important that the equipment you use in your church is easy for new people that really don't come from this world to understand. And Sam breaks down what it was like teaching brand new volunteers to use the Command Wing XT.
I actually trained two brand new ops on it when we had it. They all fell in love with it as fast as I did. It was, especially my ops that have been coming off of the old console, they were amazed by how much easier it was to run, versatility with it, the amount of control they had while they were running it, and then also they just found it so much easier to run than the old board.
Given your situation, you might have lighting in different rooms, but all on the same lighting network. Now, this can be a little problematic when working with different kinds of lighting consoles and how they speak to each other, especially when you have different people running from room to room. You may have a long event that lasts for a few days straight, and you've got this volunteer working this room, and then the next day you have them working this room, and then the next day you have them working this room, and you really don't want the equipment slowing down your production just because you have different people scheduled in different rooms at different times. And Aaron gives us some great insight on what it was like having the Command Wing XT in a church that already uses GrandMA in other rooms.
we put the Command Wing XT up in the student center, and Sam, you were saying, I seen you do these things in the auditorium with the other MA console. And it was really easy to go from one room to another on the same line of consoles. And it made that process between rooms and then between volunteers, between people programming, really easy. And then it just frees up time. The less time that you spend fighting the console, trying to figure out, I want to do this, but I don't know how to make it do that. The more time you can spend with volunteers, your friends in the room, more time that you can just sit and come up with new ideas when you have a tool that's working for you and not against you.
So I work at a somewhat big church, and I'm a little familiar with what GrandMA is capable of. But it's always great to hear other people's confidence in their own situation of what GrandMA has been able to do for them in their different rooms and their different lighting setups and their different environments. But who is this really for? What church could really benefit from a console like this? Is it just small student ministries? Is it big? Is it medium size? And Aaron does a great job of breaking down where and how this could be used.
The MA line overall is just a really great, solid console, and the Wing XT is a really affordable way to get into MA without needing to have anything extra. So if you have a Wing, just an MA Wing, you'll need a computer with it. The Wing XT, that computer is built right in, so it's an all-in-one package. You set it on the table, hit the power button, and it'll boot right into MA for you. It's such a powerful console and such a small thing. Right? I mean, I've got the show file from our light console. I was able to put it on a thumb drive, plug it into the Command Wing XT, and it loaded it right up and it just ran. And then in the student center, right, it was good to go. For us, it fits really well in our student center. Our tech booth is a little smaller. We don't quite need as many parameters in there. So a smaller venue, mid-sized church, those kind of things I think it fit really well in, but it's not too out of place in a larger room. I mean, it's got the horsepower. It can do it.
So a big thank you to MA Lighting for sending out the Command Wing XT, as well to our friends Aaron and Sam over at Northwoods Community Church for taking your time, for implementing this into your workflow, and seeing how it could improve your productions at Northwoods. Of course, feel free to subscribe to the Church Production YouTube channel, and make sure to check out churchproduction.com for new inspiration, insights, and articles on everything church production. As always, I'm Marcel Patillo. I'll see you all in the next one.